Seattle Sounders 0, Inter Miami 1. Niko, what was your thoughts on tonight's match?
We lost, and that was very depressing. So, as what Atif said in the last fan cam, he's a Manchester United fan, so he's used to this. I'm a Liverpool supporter, so I'm not used to this. We beat Manchester City today in a thrilling game, and now we're just losing at home to a NEVILLE. Who loses to a NEVILLE? Their manager, Phil Neville, has you said Miami has 1 win this season?
1 win and 1 clean sheet this season.
Gary Neville was 10 games at Valencia. We have joined the very small list of teams that have lost to a Neville manager, and that is very, very depressing. I'm going to drop a meme about this a little later because I can't stress this enough, but whenever we're losing, the Sounders just love to cross the ball. Just we're losing, I have the ball, I don't know what to do, maybe take a shot? No, we're going to cross the freaking ball.
And to nobody.
Pass, cross, nothing happens. It's just, you love to see it.
Was there any silver lining for you in tonight's game? Any positives? Anyone that stood out for you?
The fact that we didn't lose 2-0 is a silver lining.
It was very much getting to that point where you thought, shit, Inter Miami could definitely hurt us on the counter because we were putting a lot of numbers forward, and they were pretty close to doing so. I mean, if it was a better team, I think we would have lost that game 2-0.
No, absolutely. They were trying to take advantage of those counterattacks, which is how you sometimes lose those games 2-0, but the scoreline doesn't reflect how the game was because especially in that second half, the ECS at the back, we were pressing them pretty well. We just weren't finding the answer, unfortunately. And with all the crosses we were putting in, they're 6'10" center back. I think his name is Medika. He's number 12 in Miami. He was having a field day out there because every single time, every short near post cross, he would just head it out like it's training.
Yeah. That's I think that's the biggest and most embarrassing part of today's game is, as we just mentioned, Inter Miami's kept 1 clean sheet, and they're up there for the teams that have conceded the most goals this season, and the Sounders couldn't get even a goal. It's not even just the fact that they lost, but the fact they lost, and then the team even kept a clean sheet at home. They did it in Lumen Field. I mean, this is almost now becoming not a fortress anymore because this is now 2 games already this season. We've seen them lose 1-0, keeping Sounders in a shutout.
No, exactly. And to be quite honest, this hasn't been a fortress since COVID happened because last season we lost both times to Kansas City at home, I believe, and we lost a couple other times. Back in 2019 and 2018 especially, we weren't losing at home. The only team that could beat us at home was through a penalty shootout, and let's not even dive into that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So, we just need to reestablish our dominance at home because for the last couple of years, we haven't.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that people were talking about in today's game was the lineup. That was pretty much the big talking point. Were you fine with the amount of rotation we had because we had a midweek game against NYCFC? Do you think it was fine to put out that lineup, or you say, no, maybe you want a mixture of more experience and more youngsters? But people would say, but we're playing Inter Miami. And this is, again, now hindsight, but this is what people were saying. Do you think this lineup was right by Brian Schmetzer, or do you think, no, you would probably want more experience in this game, even though players would be probably more tired?
And that's a good question. I think it was fine for him to rest Fry because he had a blinder on Wednesday, and these games are very close together. We just came from East Coast to West Coast. Yeah, some players need a rest. So I totally understand that.
But however, we have a week off now. We don't have anything going on midweek.
Exactly. So we still should have put in our cards for this game to at least show that we're trying to get the 3 points.
I don't think we tried to get the 3 points
exactly.
tonight.
We really didn't, just based on that lineup. I love to see Danny Leyva start as usual. I think he's a terrific player, and I think he's going to amount to one of the best MLS players, in my opinion. It's just all the other players, they were low-key Tacoma Defiance players.
I just think, too, the part of it is I don't think you put the right mixture of players on the field. You're throwing Jimmy Medranda on his first start in today's game. You're throwing in Danny and Atencio together for the first time in ages together. You're throwing Obed Vargas. Yes, he's been good, but not at right mid. He hasn't played in that position before. You're giving Leao a start. You're giving Will and Freddie a start together. That's not the right combo. You don't put Will with Freddie. You put Raul with Freddie or Will with Raul. You don't mix Freddie and Freddie and Will together because you could see how dead our offense was in this game with them two together. That's what I'm just saying. It seems like the combinations he wanted to put out in this game, they just didn't make sense. Just too much nonsense in this lineup, in my opinion.
No, exactly. the best purpose for Will Messi on our team is to be that target man. We can't be playing a two-man offense with two target mans. One's going to be the last man, which is usually Raul, but today we just had two target mans, and especially Will Messi, he needs to have a good partner out there to either knock the ball to through a header, especially with a header. That guy's terrific with headers. But I think we subbed on our best players a little too late into the game. We put on Raul, Niko. We should have started with at least one of them on the field, if you ask me.
I agree. I think we needed a João Paulo. We needed a Nicolas Ladero to help at least control this midfield for, I would say, young and inexperienced, because a lot of these guys hadn't played all season or haven't gotten consistent minutes like other guys, and you can see how much it hurt us because we lost to Inter Miami. This is a team, when you look on the calendar, you're like, okay, this is a team we're going to get 3 points. We're at home against Inter Miami, a team that has been bent over in many games throughout their tenure in MLS. They're still kind of the new boys on the block, and we let them come to Lumen Field and snatch 3 points in the first ever game between the two clubs.
Exactly, and that's honestly, that's going into my worst fear for this season, is we're putting all of our cards in the Champions League. It's pretty clear after tonight, and so my biggest fear is we're just going to be repeating what the other MLS teams have done in a CONCACAF Champions League final, is do terrible in the league, at least at first, and then lose the Champions League final. At least the second leg is going to be at home. I don't think, except Montreal, I'm not quite sure about that. Don't quote me on that. At least we have the second leg here, and unlike some other teams, we know how to win a final at home. So I'm feeling pretty confident going into the CONCACAF Champions League final. Of course, given we have a good start in the first leg. We just need to show that we could win domestically as well, because it's a really good morale boost for the Champions League final. Like, we have a Champions League final and we just lost to bloody Miami. It's not looking good.